my name is Robin Lee Lovelace. I'm an Indiana author. This is my second book, came out June the 6th. It's called A Wild Region. The title came from a quote from Abraham Lincoln when his family moved to Indiana. He called it a wild region. I agree. Well, first I had to write the stories. And then I had to make sure the stories were good enough to be published, which is hard. And then I wrote stories that won some writing awards. And then I put that collection together with 4 new stories that have not been published and sent it out to publishers and literary agents. And I got a contract with a publisher called Willow River Publishing. It's a division of one called Between the Lines Publishing. And this was in 2021 when I signed the contract, and it just came out in June. There were some glitches, some steps, but it got there. Indiana inspires my stories because this place is a wild region. You just have to open your eyes and listen, and you will hear some crazy stuff. And from there, you write stories, fiction stories, I mean, you know, with a little bit of truth, a grain of emotional truth, and go from there. But you know, if a writer was in, I don't know, New Mexico or Colorado or Georgia, they'd say the same thing. Because on one level, everybody's human, everybody has the same crazy stories. Indianapolis has a great community of writers. There's so many writers in Indianapolis and Indiana, but I found when I moved to Evansville, I had to move in 1993 to 2003. I stopped writing. And the only thing I can figure out is because I didn't have that support in Evansville that I have here. Indiana Writers Center has always been there for me. It's not just Indiana life. It just happens to be because I live in Indiana, and you know, they always say, write what you know. So I know Indiana. One of my favorite Indiana authors right now is Frank Bill. He had a collection of short stories that came out a few years ago called Crimes in Southern Indiana. And he has a book that came out in May, Back to the Dirt. It's about a Vietnam vet. The reason I like him so much is because a lot of the stories that I write are about the same region. He writes a little further in Southern Indiana, but it's the same culture. It's the same region. And I think I connect to his stories because I know who these people are. A friend of mine, Michael Dabney, he writes detective stories, but he's really good. He's one of my favorites too. His book was An Untitled Chapter. I would recommend him too, Michael. The advice that I would give writers that are starting out is never, never, never give up. Read all you can, write all you can, write every day. Go to every class, buy every good book about writing and study, and never give up. Thanks.